This is my sketchbook tour number 7. And it's not the usual sketchbook I use. This is really pretty. Got a ribbon to tie it closed, and look at the pretty flowers on there. But that doesn't necessarily translate through in the fun of using this. So let's have a look and I'll chat to you about the experience of using this sketchbook. So I started off practicing some noses and I drew some faces. I used pencil for this. Let's bring you a little bit closer. I quite enjoyed doing this and I was determined to do as many faces as I could. But already something wasn't right with this sketchbook. I stuck in a picture of a shard I did at the Marley Fields in Yorkshire on the 29th of December 2019. I took this out of a sketchbook, the one I got that I drew a person every day. There were a lot of really not pretty drawings and this, so I cut this out, popped it in here just as a record, and this is a piece of lino. Sounds really weird, but I like collecting vintage lino. So I popped a bit in my book there and then decided I was going to try drawing Castle Coch or Castell Coch. And this is a castle in Wales. We always think of it as the fairy castle. And I remember many a time driving past it and we would check when I was little if the light was shining, then it meant the fairies were in. So I tried different styles, different colours, just playing about. That's one thing I have learned with the sketchbook is you don't have to worry if it looks a bit of a mess, you're still learning. More castles, still Castle Coch, but different views, different colours, different styles. And then this really weird baby. And for some reason I didn't fill in any more. I just carried on. And there was something weird going on with this sketchbook. So then I drew this person who I liked and was very popular on Instagram. Lots of people liked her. I don't know if it was the colours or the expressions or the fact that she was a fairy or a rock chick, but people really did like that. And then this was when I practiced drawing bargeway roses. They're still not perfect, but I'm going to do more practice on these because they're fun to do, just a little bit fiddly, until I suppose you know what you're doing, and then they're nice and easy. And I also tried it out on black paper and glued it in. Now this is from a scroller box that I had. I had 2 scroller boxes and then decided, I don't know, although it's fun to try the different things because you pay your £15, they give you a box with different art things in and a challenge and you have to come up with something. And I did these as secret message Christmas cards because this is actually the writing and sometimes you feel a bit embarrassed to say how much you love somebody or what they mean to you. So you could write and then write over the top and over the top and just gave you that sort of weird modern looking tinsel-y stuff, but it meant you could really send them a card with how you felt without saying how you felt. But I had 2 and I was beginning to think, wait a minute, that is £15 I'm paying each month for some art supplies I don't really want. Maybe occasionally I'd get ones I do, but I think I'd rather spend that money on buying myself what I really want, so I don't do scroller boxes anymore. Right, this was some really rough practicing of the bargeway roses and then some babies. I got myself a book from I think it's 1930s with some baby images in and used that for inspiration. Tried my best to draw some babies because I don't draw babies generally and I quite enjoyed that. And this one I liked. I used the book as a reference and some feet there as some practice. And a duck, I suppose it is. And then I started drawing some fairies in here, but still I wasn't getting the pleasure I usually get out of filling a sketchbook. It was really weird and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I carried on with my fairy practice. And it was on this page I suddenly realised what was the problem. I don't like this format of sketchbook. I don't know why. I think it's because every other sketchbook I've used, this is sketchbook 7, the other 6 I've used have all been the like A5 size. And my brain has adapted to using A5 sketchbooks and I'm not enjoying trying to get the format right with filling this last bit in here. So it's only something little and something silly, but I can't get over how much I didn't enjoy this sketchbook, even though it's really pretty. It's got this fancy ribbon. changing the format really made a big difference to me. And we have some, well, this is an imp and that's a mushroom person, and face. I really enjoy drawing faces. Some hair, which I then coloured in with some watercolour. This is great fun because you can just splodge in different colours, make it nice and wet, pop in the different shades, and I just think it really highlights the hair. It makes your sketchbook page look good too, whereas if you just left it as grey, it would be a bit boring. So I've included this and the next few pictures in a video of how to fill a sketchbook, just some easy sketchbook ideas. So I did this one, which was good practice for glazing and putting one colour over another. And then this one was blobbing colour into blobs of water. I use the word blobbing a lot. Right, some flowers that I did with the blobbing, but I used lots of silver on this. I got some Komorebi metallic paints, and oh, they're so much fun to use when you use them in a lot of water. You can see them all shimmering. And here we have a globe. A world, maybe our world, maybe not. And another nice relaxing way to fill a sketchbook page. No pressure, you can just enjoy yourself and let your mind relax and run away with design ideas. And then back to work, more practice. So we did a tree person and some butterflies and some mushroom people. And then a double spread of hands. I find if I really focus on hands like this, I start to really develop and it comes together and I can draw hands from references and sometimes from my mind. But then if I don't draw hands for a week or two, I just lose most of the progress. So I do try to draw as many hands as I can. So here are some goblin fingers hands, long and scrawny, and an underwater fairy. If you've got some feet practice or foot practice here, and another fairy who's lying down on a leaf and she's very demure. More feet. Now when I surround the feet, generally it looks good, but I don't know, this time it just seems to have hidden all the pencil lines and I'm not so keen on that page. And here we have a fairy again with a little mushroom person who really likes her and is bringing her some flowers. And she's like, ew, you're a mushroom. Very snooty. And this was on the 9th of November, 2020. Now I did some wing practice. I think my favourite wing is this one because it's quite light and lacy, but I also like the colours on this one. Some more fairies. And then some pencil work. I didn't put any colour on this page and it really makes a difference. I think it's always nice to have some colour on a sketchbook, especially if I'm doing a sketchbook tour like this, because it just disappears. The camera doesn't pick it up very well. But here we have some active flight, some hovering, a classic pose. And then more fairy practice. As you can see, I was working through a book on fairies at this point, trying to learn some techniques. Now this was the view out of our window when we were on holidays, and you can see the sea was there. There was a slipway coming up from the beach. The road went round here. This was the ship inn. There were some fishermen's cottages and a chimney of a fisherman's cottage there. And then if I turn it this way, there are 3 other styles of the same drawing. I'm going to try some urban sketching. So I did these as a reference, but I'm still a little bit nervous to do it yet. I will have to get round to it. And this I loved. I think this is my favourite painting of the whole book. And this is a snowman because Christmas was coming and some baubles, but a snowman wins it for me. I was watching a video from Shibashaki. He's great to watch. I'd really recommend you watch him. He's everybody's granddad, and he said you can paint a cat really quickly. So I got my brushes, I followed him. You can tell it's a cat, but you can also tell I'm a beginner and I have a long way to go when it comes to very loose watercolour. But it was fun to do and interesting because one day I'll be able to paint something like that, can look back and see my progress. And then some Christmas ideas. Some silly playing about, which I enjoy doing. More fairies. Some outfits. Another fairy. She struggled with tone. I could really do with darkening some of the tones to make her stand out. I don't know if I'll go back and revisit it or not. I'll have to think about it. And then I decided I was going to do a little swatchy page. So I got my acrylic painter pens there and my washi tape there. And these are my Posca pens. And then I thought, well, let's just play about. So I did. And I like this furry Christmas tree. Look at that. Another face. I like this face. I wanted to draw a silly, like, lady gnome pulling faces. And I think it came out okay. A nice cheerful background helped too. I'm never quite sure what backgrounds to put on them. I usually give it a go, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Alright, this was playing with designs for Christmas cards, because I wanted to make a video on simple Christmas card designs and ideas. So I just gave it a try, and this is what I came up with. I didn't put this one on the video, but this was just little poofy pom-poms I bought from the pound shop. Glued them onto a Christmas tree shape. It's very fat and really makes my sketchbook look strange. And it's also bent a bit. I just used this on some double-sided spongy tape stuff. Cut it to the right shape. Stuck it on my book and then added the pom-poms on. Then I decided to try drawing a little bit of a winter scene with some Christmas trees and pine trees. Again, this is something I struggle with, is adding depth by using darker tones, or something I need to work on. I may well go back and revisit this one because I want to get that looking much better. I think it's got a lot of potential. And some flower practice. And a tree. And somebody hiding behind a tree. And then the 6th of December 2020, I finished sketchbook number 7. If you've enjoyed this video, then please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you all next time. But until then, don't forget, draw every day and have fun. Bye!